And welcome to Side 1, Side B with Dave and Steve. I'm Dave.
And I'm Steve.
And we have a guest with us today.
And I'm Andy, and thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, what do you guys know about the city of Chicago?
One time I went there with my ex-girlfriend, and we were so impressed with the public transit that we were kind of riding it around for fun. Except for the one time there was like an empty car, and we didn't realize why the car was empty until we like stepped onto it and the doors closed and it smelled like shit. But otherwise, I love their public transit, and I wish every city had that.
Like, Chicago has better public transit than most American cities, as someone who has traveled quite a bit. Like, it's real easy to, like, go there and get to any part of the city within, like, 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah, we parked our car, and we didn't, like, drive it anywhere the entire time, and we went all over that city, so, yeah.
Like, I usually vacation in Chicago, but last time I went on a trip, we went to Denver, and I found a bus stop to a bookstore I wanted to go to. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I realized, oh, the buses only run out to this part of the city once an hour. So I am going to have to be very careful with how I plan to get back home. So, like, I'm used to Chicago where it's just like, oh, there's not a bus right now? Wait 10 minutes. Yeah.
I also love Chicago-style pizza.
Yes. Oh. Both the deep dish and the tavern style.
Yeah, I was in Chicago not that long ago, and after Thanksgiving, and I enjoyed the public transportation getting around. It is quite easy, and it's just like fun. But yeah.
It's also cool. Like half the time you go to stops, there's like a musician performing, and they're like amazing.
Yeah, and then you get. I also had like a random stranger compliment my Red Doc Martens on the train, and that was a nice self-esteem boost. Though right now I'm not wearing these. I'm wearing new shoes that I got because I have new boots. I can get work boots and just have them take them out of my paycheck as a benefit for working for the city. But yeah.
Another thing I'd like to see is while we're watching China get all sorts of high-speed rail, I'm like, can we get that here so I could just go to Chicago on the weekend? But
yeah, like a
we can't have nice things in this country.
High-speed rail, you could get to. If we had high-speed rail, you could get to Chicago in 2 hours from here, which would be cool.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
It is one of the problems that being in Omaha, you are like hours away from something.
Yeah, the closest really cool city to us is Kansas City, which is about 3 hours. Almost everything else is 6 to 8. Like 6 hours to Minneapolis, 8 hours to Chicago, 8 hours to Denver. Everything else even farther.
And I have relatives. My wife's family is from Kansas City. They live in Kansas City, and I don't know. Maybe I've been there too many times, but really, it's just like a little bit bigger Omaha. You know, it's not. There's not anything really. All the Kansas City people now are going to hate us. I'm sorry, I don't mean that.
St. Louis is cool, and that's about 6 hours. Yeah.
The guys that host the Vanguard are going to be very upset with us.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should ask what the ground rules were before.
We can talk shit about any city we want. But yeah. So today we're going to talk about one of the city of Chicago's great hardcore bands. I think they're the second best band to come out of the city of Chicago after Big Black. And their lead singer was the original bass player for Big Black, but he'd left by the time the Atomizer album, which we did last season, came out. So there's not going to be overlap with musicians yet, except for like that we did we've had some overlap, just not with those two bands yet. So yeah. So everyone take a shot of Malort. I did not bring Malort. I should have. But everyone take a shot of Malort. And what do you guys know about Naked Raygun?
I've seen their name a lot of times, but that's about it.
Yeah, I was trying to rack my brain to think if I had seen them before here in Omaha. And I'm sure that I probably did. Maybe not, but I can't remember. I do remember they had one album that was fairly popular for a while, and it may have been Jettison.
I think so.
Possibly.
Was that the one with the Vanilla Blue?
Yeah.
I think I've seen their name on a flyer at some point during my my music career here.
The main things I know about them as a band, well, before this album, like before I got this album, I saw them live at Stir Cove once, which is a venue at a casino where all the beer is overpriced. But I saw them opening for, what was that whole lineup? It was Naked Raygun played first, then Stiff Little Fingers, and then Bad Religion, and then The Offspring played all of the Smash albums. So it was a pretty kick-ass show.
Well, I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been playing a lot of Crazy Taxi lately, so I kind of got into The Offspring and Bad Religion for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, when you're driving around listening to the Crazy Taxi soundtrack and you're just like stuck in traffic and you can't run over pedestrians, it doesn't quite have the same kick.
Yeah. But yeah, Naked Raygun, their lead singer was the original bass player for Big Black. And their guitar player, the guitar player for Big Black, was in Naked Raygun for a while. He's not on this album. I think he stayed with Big Black, which was probably, I don't know. I think Naked Raygun is probably the band that's been more financially successful at this point. But who can say? They're both 80s punk bands that have been successful in that regard, but it's not like it's the big bucks either way. But yeah,
I imagine it's like Buzzo from the Melvins one time said, "We're not millionaires, we're thousandaires, and not even a lot of thousands."
Like I remember one time when Lust for Life started playing on Carnival Cruise commercials, someone started giving Iggy Pop shit about that, and he was like, "Listen, I could put that on. I could put that song on commercials, or I could start tending bar to make ends meet. Those are your options."
What's better, that or John Lydon's butter endorsement?
The butter endorsement's just funny. I'm not mad about it anymore, mainly because John Lydon's a bit of a piece of shit. But the butter commercial's really funny.
I had heard that the Sex Pistols did some one-off with John Lydon during maybe the Queen's thing here not too long, but they're touring again. I think without John Lydon, but it was I don't know what that was all about, and I'm like, do I want to go see that or do I not want to go? I'm not 100% sure.
I would see it if it came close enough. I wouldn't travel for it.
Yeah,
is my thought.
I've
heard the new guy's pretty good. The new singer.
I think it's probably better than the new Black Flag lineup.
Okay. Oh yeah, definitely.
I thought some of that Steve Jones stuff, post Sex Pistols stuff was pretty good, but it was whatever. But anyway, it'd be interesting. I was like, I don't know if I want to see that or not, but
yeah, it
might be interesting.
Yeah, I would see it if it was close, but I would not travel for it. Let's see. I think the farthest I've gone just for a show is 8 hours.
Yeah, I think same, because I saw Soundgarden in Denver, and that's about 8 hours. So
yeah. There are a few bands on the list that how far what are you going to do? And we always said that I always look at the Red Rocks, Denver Red Rocks lineup to see if there's anything cool in Denver to see, but they're kind of hit and miss all the time, and then getting tickets is kind of hard for that kind of stuff. But
that's Red Rocks is where I saw Soundgarden. And,
that would be awesome.
And the person I was dating at the time had a cousin who worked there or something. Anyway, she got us some like amazing tickets. So,
that
was cool.
That would. There are that's like I always think there's like if there's a show at Red Rocks, I was like, well, is this Red Rocks worthy, or is this just a band that I can see anywhere? And I'm like, no, let's travel to Red Rocks and buy the tickets and see what happens. But anyway, it's getting so hard to buy tickets. Anyway, I don't want to.
Oh, tickets are getting expensive.
It's crazy.
I recently spent like $100 total on 2 tickets for a show that's in Denver in October, and I felt like I was getting away with something at this point. I'm gonna go see in October. I'm gonna go see Pup, which is a Canadian punk band. with Jeff Rosenstock and Echo Astral. And that's, yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to get 2 tickets for like $100 because that's not really a thing anymore.
No, and you know, I always feel duped when you because you subscribe to like whatever, and you get like, oh, you get the code for the pre-sale, the pre-sale. Tickets go on sale Friday, but you get the pre-sale for Wednesday, and they're already sold out on when, and you're like, yes, yeah, whatever, yeah.
I was thinking of going to, like in June, going to see one of Devo's last shows in St. Paul, but the tickets were like $230. It's like, I've already seen Devo. I wouldn't mind seeing them again, but I don't really want to spend $230 and then travel 6 hours and have to figure out lodging for a band I have already seen and loved. They're one of my favorite bands, but they're also, like, they've been around a long time, and 2 of the members of their classic lineup are dead now, and so it's just like, well, I saw them in Des Moines when Bob 2 was still alive, and that will be my farewell to them.
Yeah, I've never seen Devo, but that is one of the bands that I regret not seeing. Like, I've seen a lot of bands live, but Devo is on the list of being like, oh. And there were those opportunities where you had, maybe when they weren't at the height that they're, in the whatever, but you could have seen them, and it would have been a great show. And I failed to see them, and I kind of wish I had, but whatever.
Yeah, they did. I remember though when I did see them, I saw them at an outdoor venue in Des Moines, and they played a really long set. They didn't have an opening act. They had a local DJ spin a bunch of punk records before they took the stage, and like a bunch of like punk and rockabilly and like that type of stuff. And like when he got done, he walked away, and then they played they technically played 2 sets, and each was like an hour and a half. So it was a great show, and I'm sure they would do that long of a show if I saw them again. But there's only so much traveling I can do, like so much time I can take off to go see stuff, and I have not seen Puff, Jeff Rosenstock, or Echo Astral. So that is my long distance show for the year.
And sometimes it's like, I've seen so many like smaller bands that are just on tour and passing through that don't get any recognition, and it's like, God, you can just go and see like a amazing local band for like $10 and not even have to deal with the insane prices or deal with
Ticketmaster or Live Nation.
And then finding parking and all that kind of stuff. Like, I think the last big band I saw was Tool, and that was a number of years ago now. So
one of my big travel for a show stories is once I got tickets for Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds in Denver, and my car broke down on the way there, and I missed the show, and I had to total my car 8 hours away from home, and so I had to call my dad and let him into and have my roommates at the time let him into my house, and get the title faxed over and all that, and total my car long distance, and then took the train home, and that is how I discovered that my road trip days are over, and I'm just going to take the train whenever I can.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. We came back from Denver in a concert a couple of years ago during a tornado, and we were driving, and it was like, oh, we're at Red River, and they're like, tornado touchdown at Red River, and my wife is like, just punching the gas pedal to get home to Omaha to beat the store. Like, was this worth it? Was this worth it? And I'm like, yeah, I think it was worth it. It was worth it.
Yeah. But yeah, the album we're going to talk about today is Throbbing Gristle's first album. It is called Throb Throb, and it came out in 1985. Steve, what can you tell us about the cover?
Let's see. Did you mean to say Naked Raygun and not Throbbing Gristle?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Throb Throb, Naked Raygun. The album is Throb Throb. We haven't done Throbbing Gristle yet. We've done Cabaret Voltaire. We need to do Throbbing Gristle at some point. But yeah, Naked Raygun.
Well, let's see. We got a cover where the it's very militaristic. I see what kind of looks like a tank or some kind of military vehicle, and there's like a soldier in it, and then under that there is a soldier making his war face, I assume. The Naked Raygun logo has like a little ray gun looking drawing on the R. On the back, it's a drawing of the tank that I just referred to. So, yeah, very militaristic looking cover.
I do remember the song "Throb Throb." It is. It's one of the good ones.
Yeah, this was I got this album from Pete. There was a song back when Pete and I were both in Tiananmen Squares. We covered the first track on this album, Rat Patrol, and Pete bought the LP and thought it was too arty for a hardcore band and gave it to me. And so that's how I got this album, and I really loved it. This is a reissue that has a bonus track, and so at the very end of side 2, there is a shorter version of one of the songs on side 1 that has a little bit of piano on it that's not on the normal version. But so just know when we get to side 2 that the very last song is not a part of the original album.
No. The song's called No.
Yes.
Looking at side 1 here, we got Rat Patrol, Surf Combat, Gear, Metastasis, Leeches, Roller Queen, and On. You know, On is on this side, and then we got the inverse on the other side. No. Dave, talk about the lineup.
All right, the lineup for this one, we got Jeff Pizzotti on vocals. He was also the bass player for the original version of Big Black. We've got Camilo Gonzalez on bass. We have John Haggerty on guitar and saxophone. And we have Jim Colio on drums. The Chicago hardcore scene was a little different from some of the other ones in that these were college kids. They were going to university. They were getting degrees. The guitar player who was in this band and later spent more time in Big Black is a lawyer. He went to law school. Big Black broke up because he was finishing law school and doing the bar. And so like they're a little artier. You'll see that in their political songs that they tend to have, like, there tends to be more going on than just the fuck everything type stuff. They have like detailed breakdowns of why they think the U.S. government shouldn't be doing things in the Middle East and stuff like that.
Kind of like System of a Down.
Kind of like, yeah. Like Rat Patrol. There's a little more going on it. But yeah, this is a very good album. I like it a lot. They know how to play their instruments. They're really good at it. My main sources for this are, because they were Big Black adjacent, the Big Black chapter in Our Band Could Be Your Life is how I know a lot, like most of the things I know about this band. And I am glad I saw them live. I really do like them. Their big hit, Vanilla Blue, was on a later album, and so this is them at their scrappiest. Like, they polish up a little bit as they get more successful.
I think it's funny that Pete gave you this album and he's not the guest on this.
Yeah. Well, I already know he doesn't like it. I'm tired of Pete like bringing Pete on and like putting on an album and he likes like 3 songs on it.
I remember Sean was like, "Why didn't you have me on that episode? You had Pete and he didn't even like it."
We should have had Sean on that one, or had them both balance each other out.
That's kind of been the case with the albums that I've brought in too. He's just like, "Oh yeah, I liked it, but I didn't love it."
Yeah.
See, we gotta have him bring in an album, then we'll know he'll like it.
Yeah. Have him bring on an album and then both of us just be like, meh.
I find this album shallow and pedantic.
Yeah. No, we're much more positive than him, but yeah, it would be fun just to do that as a bit. And we know he doesn't listen to episodes that he's not on, so we can say everything that we want.
Just one. And then he called us Troy and Abed.
Yeah. But yeah, we will get this started, and then we will talk to you once we've listened to side 1 of Throb Throb by Naked Raygun.
I like your stained glass window. That is really cool.
Isn't that neat? Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like when I'm doing music stuff, it's like I'm in church.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Especially since we do our practice on Sunday.
We did play a show in a decommissioned church one time.
That's right.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
I think James was trying to get me to go to that, and I can't remember. That was up in the Vinton area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have been there. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I apologize.
We'll have another show here soon in June, so I'll send you the details once I remember them.
We should book that place again.
We should. I think if we booked that place, we just she would just prefer if we did it as like a private party, which we definitely could do. Because she had a bad experience with some people who turned it into like a real party, and the neighbors got really mad. So,
yeah.
But yeah, we are back from the first side of Throb Throb by Naked Raygun. Fellas, what'd you think?
It was really I think I remember some of those, but I don't really remember some of those. But I really like the first two, and the one we were talking about back then, what was it? Something Queen.
Yeah, Roller Queen.
Roller Queen, yes. That was fun. That was a really fun album.
Yeah.
Side A was really fun.
This is one of my favorite hardcore albums, I think, ever. Like, this is really good. It's weird, it's confident, it's lyrically, it's a bit more, I don't know, if you really want maturity out of hardcore, but it's more mature than a lot of hardcore bands. But
Yeah, as a thrash fan, this is the kind of hardcore that I really like. It's a lot of the things that I like about Black Flag, but like better because Greg Ginn sucks. But but also in a lot of places reminded me of the first Corrosion of Conformity album, and I mean like the first one, like before even Animosity.
oh, yeah.
And then
They were basically a hardcore band at that point.
Yeah. And then the vocal delivery reminded me a bit of Buzzo from Melvins, but also of Mark Mothersbaugh of Devo.
Yeah, it was kind of, if you combined Buzzo and Mothersbaugh, which is great. Two of my favorite vocalists, honestly.
Something that's very common for hardcore at the time is the production was very lo-fi. The playing on it isn't perfect. Technically, they weren't afraid to leave in what I think some people might consider mistakes, but I doubt they considered those mistakes. They probably just considered it like there was a lot of freeform on this. I think
It was jazz.
Yeah. Live studio type stuff. Yeah. What year was this album put out?
85.
85. Okay.
Yeah, 85.
So they were right there at the
And then one thing I wanted to note is the guitar literally sounded metallic. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of an interesting sound.
Yeah, it did not sound metallic to the same degree as the very related Big Black guitar sounds, but that guitar is going out of its way to do things to sound metallic. I think this is just kind of being in a similar space and being like, what can I do with just the guitar itself rather than use a notched metal pick to slice my hands up while I play type of thing.
I'm curious, production wise, I wonder if they just played these live and then had very few microphones in the room, or how they put this one together. Do you know?
I don't know quite like that. I know that a lot of hardcore bands, they would just book the least amount of time and just practice a lot before playing, and then since time was money and they were broke, just play as fast as possible, which is why a lot of the hardcore albums are so like lo-fi and have like the small little goofs. It's like, well, this is the best take with the time we had. Let's go with it. So yeah,
it's kind of surprisingly refreshing to get through the songs on this pretty quick, especially with us coming right off that Jerry Cantrell album where we were all kind of sick of it towards the end.
Yeah, where it was a great album, but it's like, come on, wrap this up.
And I don't think sometimes I feel like, I don't know if we'd necessarily be feeling that way if like we were just like sitting down listening to it on our own and like doing other things. But yeah, like for that album, we were all feeling like get it over with. With this one, I was very much like, it's done.
Yeah.
do you think
longer even. Yeah.
Do you think during that period of time when they were switching over from vinyl, which was like 45 minutes or so, till CDs where they had like 76 minutes or 96 minutes, so they felt like, well, I got to fill up all of this type of, I got to fill up the space.
Oh, they like when the default format changed from vinyl to CD, you can definitely tell, because there's a point in like the early 90s when albums by default are like an hour plus.
Yeah.
Beforehand, they're like 40 minutes. And
which I think a lot of albums suffer for it, because I think a perfect album is between like 35 and 45 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think,
exactly.
I think most albums got a lot more filler once CDs became the default format, and it's kind of too bad, because I think there's some albums that would be all-time classics that are just seen as kind of mediocre because of just how many unnecessary tracks they have from like the early 90s. So yeah.
Well, it's like a lot of people dog on Metallica's Load and Reload albums with good reason, but I feel like there's like one really good album in that 2 album set.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know where you're going with this, but let's I do like the Load and Reload album, but yes, exactly, you got it right. You could put like 40 minutes of music on both of those and get a really good hardcore.
Yeah. Like I frequently said, this was released on vinyl as a triple record, but like the Clash's Sandinista record would have been a great double album if they would have cut a few songs throughout the first 5 sides and cut all of side 6.
Speaking of like thrash bands like Metallica, like I could see like James and Lars getting down to this album, but I can also see like the guys from Anthrax listening to this, because they had their side project SOD, which was a crossover thrash band.
Yeah,
and it had a lot of the same stuff as this, like the shorter songs, the weird moments, and even like the funny moment, like the experimental song at the end, and so yeah, I imagine that this album was making the rounds through like Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, Testament, Exodus, like all those bands.
And it being like the college kids hardcore album, there's a bit more to latch onto lyrically too, which I really like. I know that you don't catch as much lyric stuff on the first listen, especially on like a lo-fi hardcore record, but I really do like lyrically. I really do think this is fun. It's like it tackles serious issues, but in kind of a playful way, and so like it's willing to be, like do the things that people are mad about, do it a little more smartly, but it's never pretentious. So yeah,
I was just about to say that it had arty moments, but it didn't go overboard on it, so I didn't find it pretentious at all.
We can go song by song now. Rat Patrol. When I was in Tiananmen Squares, we used to cover this. It was part of our regular set when Prince died, and we had a show the next day. It's like, well, we need to pay tribute to Prince, but we're not going to learn a Prince song in a day because we all have jobs and none of us are that technical. So what can we do to pay tribute to Prince? And like the kind of guitar drone at the beginning.
Yeah.
So what we did is, Pete was playing the guitar drone, and I just said, "Dearly beloved, we're gathered here today to get through this thing called life," and then just launched into a pretty straightforward cover of Rat Patrol, which is great.
That sounds great. I think Rat Patrol was my favorite song on the So That we've listened to. Yes, that was a good one.
This one got really thrashy. I liked it.
This is my favorite song on side 1, probably second or third favorite on the album. So yeah, it's a great song. I still know all the lyrics from doing it live so many times, and I know to speed up the last chorus at the end to make it fit right, because of how many times I got it wrong in practice trying to do the second chorus at the same clip as the first chorus. So yeah, this is a song I know like all the little details of front to back. Still love it. Still kicks ass.
It's sufficiently intense for a song called Rat Patrol.
Yeah, I like the vocal delivery. I like the whole thing. Like the whole premise of the song is people in the Middle East are annoyed and confused that the U.S. Army is there. Basically, an Arab staring and wondering why the Westerners are there. Yeah.
It's too bad. Too bad Sean isn't here for this one, because he could have added his thoughts on that, since he was there and he didn't know why he was there.
Yeah. As an Iraq War veteran, we could get a lot of insights from him. I like my favorite part of the song though, and I think what really elevates it is I like that it's the same old story. It'll never end. It'll happen again. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Then guitar feedback, bass breakdown before coming back in even more intense than it was before that. It's what I like about hardcore is when they make things a little quiet and slow them down for a while before coming back in, just because it gives you a chance to kind of stand there and sway before getting back into the circle pit and slamming into people.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly what I want from a hardcore song is the slow breakdowns before coming back in more intense.
Yeah, it's everything I like about Black Flag, but better.
Yeah. Black Flag, I've heard people say Black Flag stopped having funny songs after TV Party. This is as serious as the other songs on Damage, but with still keeping the humor of TV Party through a lot of it.
Yeah.
And then also they had a better understanding of the band's dynamics. They're better players, still not the reason you listen to hardcore, but they're better players and therefore kind of know composition a little better. Everything's there for a reason, while a lot of the times with Black Flag it would just play it as intensely as possible. Oh yeah,
and we'll talk about this more when we get to it, but there's a jazzy song later, and Greg Ginn would attempt to do things like that, but I mean Greg Ginn couldn't play that way, and he couldn't even tune his guitar half the time. I remember we were listening to it, and I'm and our old drummer Dave in Megaton, I remember we were sitting there, and he's just this would be great if he just tuned his guitar.
Next up we have Surf Combat. Another song that gets into the military themes that are in a lot of songs on this.
This is a really fun noise rock song.
Yeah, that was good. I would have to say I think that was good too.
I liked the scratchy guitar solo. I liked how in one of the quiet moments, so that you wouldn't definitely not miss it. The lyrics were "Muscle Beach is not Pork Chop Hill." Yeah, fun little short song. Kind of keep thematically, it fits with Rat Patrol. It's even less serious though. It's more of a goof, which I think is a good way to kind of keep going with the themes, but show that the band doesn't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah, I think it sounds like they're having kind of a good time, right? When they're playing this stuff. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, there's even moments later in Leeches, they layer in just some studio conversation into it, and you can just tell they're just having fun with the time they have and making a record, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Ready to move on. Next is Gear, which is my second favorite on this side. So, probably my fourth favorite song on the record, then, is what I would get to. But, yeah, second favorite on this side. Also about the military. The first three songs are all about the military. I think it kind of changes up after this, but it's a great song. The record kind of skipped on that because it was my record. This is the first record I brought that I think is skipped. But so I take better care of my records than that, I guess. But yeah, just a little bit of a flaw on it. Yeah.
Well, especially for colored vinyl too, you would think you would,
yeah,
you would have that be a little bit more pristine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ooh, this is on colored vinyl. This is special.
We actually haven't had a lot of record skips on this one. We had one on my copy of Mastodon's Crack the Sky. Or no, it was on Red Fang. Red Fang's Murder of the Mountains, and I found a blob on it later, so I think that's fixed. But yeah, it's bound to happen.
It might not be a scratch; it might be cat hair that got into the sleeve. Who knows? Yeah.
But this song, it has some swing to it and some really interesting tom work that I appreciated.
Yeah, and I kind of liked. I don't know if it's about it for sure, but I kind of read it. Calling it gear and talking about military equipment, but gear is also a word for drug paraphernalia, shooting heroin. So I think it's kind of comparing the like seeking the thrill of like military conquest to like a drug addiction, like
yeah.
decades before they made movies about that. But yeah, that's how I read it. I don't know for sure if that's what the song is about, but
That's Dave's headcanon.
that's my headcanon of what it's about. Yeah, it's just it's a nice, cool song. It's at a good place on the record. It's over really quickly, so I'm running out of things to say because it starts and it ends. But yeah. And then Metastasis.
This one I had a hard time kind of latching onto. There was a lot going on, so it was kind of hard to discern what was happening. This is one I feel like I would probably appreciate more on further listens.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Was that one of the longer ones or was that, I can't remember. I'm sorry.
This is the one that sounded a little more melodic, and like the guitar tone almost sounded like a sax. This isn't one of the songs where the guitar player played sax. It sounded more like a sax. There's like there's like a lot of group vocals in it. It sounded the most like a hardcore song out of any of them so far, but it also is a little more melodic.
Exactly. Yeah, I think you're right. I think I might need a second lesson on that one or a replay on that one. But yeah. Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a lot going on. It changed a lot. They're a little hard to latch onto, yeah. But I liked it. But yeah, it changed. Like you would hear a part, sounded cool, and then it would change suddenly. And so I think this one, like, I like how short the songs were. I like short songs, as the Dead Kennedy said. I think this one maybe needed to have been developed a little more just so that you could find what to latch onto and know what to get to it. But yeah, the guitar solo though was for me the highlight. Just kind of the blazing, almost sax-like sound to the guitar was really cool.
Yeah, I really appreciate how jazzy this album is.
Yeah,
so far,
and I think that's why Pete doesn't like it. But yeah.
And speaking of jazzy, like leading into the next one, Leech's
the jazziest song.
Yeah, very jazzy and chaotic, which I fucking love. This is probably my favorite on this side. And as I said before, it reminds me of something that Greg Ginn wishes he could do, but couldn't quite do.
Yeah, and I liked how the guitar kind of cut in and out, and how the guitar like played off of the bass and drums, because the bass and drums were pretty locked in and jazzy, and then the guitar would just like do like a really trebly, like noisy, like stab before cutting out and then coming back in. I liked how choppy it was.
Yeah.
How choppy the guitar was, but like how smooth the bass was. Good dynamics. Next up is Roller Queen. The vocals on the verse were almost kind of like John Lydon-esque. Guitar had kind of like an industrial buzz to it. Again, dynamics were great. They played off of each other well. There's a lot of like forward momentum to how like the percussion, like the drums was going, which conveyed rolling about a roller queen. This was a highlight of the side, I think. This one was really good as like the proper closer before the short experimental track.
Yeah. Yeah, it had a really good energy to it, and it was a lot of fun, and yeah, I could see this being like a lot of people's favorites off of this album. And I really liked how like the previous song like faded into it, like it had kind of a build up with the drums as the previous song was fading out, which I really appreciated.
Yeah, I agree. That was a good transition between those two songs. I thought that was I could see that Roller Queen might have been one of those ones. If you saw them live, you would have been there waiting for them to play that one. If you're familiar with the band, yeah.
Yeah. And then finally, On, the tape experiment.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was very fun. Yeah. It wasn't what I was expecting from the end of the album. That was great, yeah.
I can see, like, I'm just kind of picturing, like, Pete listening to this album, liking Rat Patrol, being like, okay, with Surf Combat and Gear, and then be like, I don't know about it at Metastasis, and then Leeches comes on, and it's like, what the fuck is this jazz? And then, like, by the time it gets through, like, that and Roller Queen, and then, like, On comes on, just be like, fuck this! And, yeah. I like tape experiments. I also liked it that it wasn't too long, though. They just kind of threw it on there, it was over. It was appropriately funny for that kind of thing.
Had much more substance than Black Sabbath's effects.
Yeah. Well, it was the whole band on board for it too, so you could, yeah.
It wasn't just, I tapped my necklace onto my pickups and made a little echoey noise. Yeah. It's like, Tony, you've been a recording artist for like 4 albums now. Like, are you really enthralled by this?
Yeah. I remember once in the documentary American Hardcore, which is a great documentary though, they were talking about kind of like the point where like arty post-punk and hardcore bands would sometimes play shows together, and there was friction in the audience, wouldn't like each other. It was, and one of the hardcore bands, I don't remember which it was because it's been like, I haven't seen that documentary since before COVID, so it feels like 20 years, even though it's like 5. Right. But yeah, I forget which band it was, like one of the big hardcore bands, but not like the big ones, not like Black Flag or Binder Threat or anything like that. Played a show with Mission of Burma, which was a post-punk band, where they had 3 people on stage and then a 4th member doing like tape manipulation stuff at the soundboard. But it was at a point where the people in the hardcore band started like beating up on the Mission of Burma fans. There was a riot and everyone hated each other. It's like, I feel like Naked Raygun sits in between hardcore and arty post-punk tape bands, and I really appreciate that because I like both and wish they had gotten along better. And I would love to go to a show where there's both those kinds of bands and everyone likes each other. People circle pit and slam dance to the hardcore part, and then they kind of pogo a little bit, but mostly just stand and sway and toast to the arty tape band.
There you go. Yeah. I like the, that's cool.
You're such a bleeding heart, Dave.
All right, we have another side of music coming up. On this side, we have a lot of songs. We have I Don't Know, which might be my favorite song on the record. Libido, which is a lot of fun. No Sex. Only in America, which might be my favorite song. I kind of 1 and 2 switch off between I Don't Know and Only in America, depending on what mood I'm in. Stupid. Manguia. And the bonus track, No.
Oh. All right. Well, let's throw this on and rock out.
That might have been the perfect filler end all, like here we go. End of the album. That was good. Yes. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the second side was a little bit better than the first side, maybe.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think I agree with that, too.
And I got to say, I'm going out here on a limb, too. There were parts of it that kind of reminded me of the Ramones. If Johnny, it was like, can you play guitar like Johnny Ramone but not be Johnny Ramone? and be in our band, but it was but there was a couple of those, definitely what I would call that later 80s, early 90s Ramones-esque type stuff that was going on that I kind of liked.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of the Ramones' response to hardcore, Too Tough to Die. Like a lot, yeah. Which is my favorite late era. It's not like super late, but post 70s Ramones album. I think.
Well, a lot of the songs on this reminded or were what I'd consider like typical hardcore or had typical hardcore elements. But that last one, Managua, that one kind of reminded me more of like a typical punk song or like a street punk song, I thought.
Yeah, almost like a 77 punk song. Yeah. Oh, we're back, by the way. That was side B of a fantastic album. That was side B of Throb Throb by Naked Raygun. One thing that I think is interesting that I didn't mention before is one of the reasons why when I saw them live, one of the bands they were playing with was Stiff Little Fingers. Stiff Little Fingers, they're a Northern Irish punk band, but they don't live in in Belfast anymore, like they did in the 70s. They have since moved to Chicago, and they're like first wave punk. They're like a little older than Naked Raygun, but not by a lot. And they're kind of companion bands a bit. Like, they cover each other's songs. They go on tour a lot together. They share members when people are sick, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Which I think it fits really well. Like, they're both arty and educated working class guys, which I think a lot of great punk is, that kind of thing. And it's really cool to see, like, a first wave band and a hardcore band kind of gel like that, especially from ones who initially lived in different continents too.
Yeah. That's always neat when art transcends borders.
Yeah.
And time, I suppose. But yeah, like you said, I think I like this side a bit more than side one, but not like a whole lot, because this first side was also amazing. But I think this one had some more intense moments than the first side, and as a metalhead, that's kind of my area is intensity.
It had some more intense moments, but it also had even more funny moments.
Yeah. But there was also a lot of jazz on this, and as a jazz hole, also really like that. So it's got the heaviness of my heavy metal side and the jazziness of my jazzy side. So yeah, it's really a good listen if you're into that kind of stuff.
Being a part of the Gearhead sound and all that, I really like the bass sound out of the guy too. That kind of punchy, not too heavily, distorted, but not. Still getting that bottom end through there. I thought that was.
I always like it when
sound.
it's that clean thump that bass has.
Yeah, it's just really, really good. I thought it sounded really good. I thought sonically it was a good sounding album too.
And one thing I really liked about the bass playing is, unlike some hardcore guys, is he knew when to do fills, when to not do fills, and when to just rest for a second, Yeah. Because, like, he could let it pulse and pause and let the dynamics kick in. And then he could do, like, a run when there was space for it, and then be quiet when there wasn't space for it. I think the bass playing was, like, the workhorse. It was definitely, like, the part that was, like, the cleanest, that made the least mistakes, that... Yeah.
I think it's really the glue that held this whole record together was the bass player, because the guitar player and the drummer were both, I'd say, kind of chaotic and would sometimes go freeform.
Which worked really good during some of the times. Yeah, it really like some of the guitar was kind of reminiscent of the Gang of Four, just this like out of mode or out of phase or whatever. It sounded really good.
Yeah.
I bet the guys from Sonic Youth like this band.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I bet the guys from Sonic Youth love this band. And I bet this band listened to a lot of Gang of Four, because there was a lot in there with, kind of some of the funkier bass moments, and with the, like, ringing, cutting guitar. And the vocal delivery too. Like, this was... One thing I've noticed is my favorite hardcore bands, which are... Like, my top two hardcore bands are these guys and the Minutemen, and they draw a lot from Gang of Four.
The Minutemen, yes. Yeah, all right.
And a lot of it is, like, a really good bass player just holding it down, because Mike Watt from the Minutemen now is in everything, and is, like, the best bass player punk rock has ever produced, and has worked his whole life, and this is very close to Mike Watt in terms of quality. This is, a great album, and like the second side is even better. Maybe it's because it takes the first side to really, kind of start to click. Okay, this is what these guys are going for, and then you're just along for the ride for the second side because of that. But yeah,
knowing Pete for as long as I have, I can tell why he didn't like this album, because it's full of a lot of imperfections, and also, I have to imagine a lot of stuff that he listens to. I notice has like very clean production, and this had not clean production at all. It was very much. I assume they were working with what they had at the time, and and hardcore bands at the time didn't have a whole lot to work with. It's a lot easier to record an album these days.
Yeah.
It was a nice sound. I overall liked it was kind of reminiscent of some of the stuff that I listened to back in the day. So I really liked it. Yes.
I love lo-fi production. Like there are even times where like I'll prefer like demo versions of songs over the like final versions. So I'm definitely not one to shy away from.
Yeah, and there weren't a lot of overdubs in the whole thing. I think like some of the overdubs were like the rhythm guitar part. When we'll talk about that more when we get to Only in America, and then like there's some overdubs of like feedback and noise, but it was a pretty stripped down, but just with the volume turned way up to make up for how stripped down it was.
Yeah.
Track by track, I don't know. My second favorite song on the record.
That one had me headbanging in my chair.
Yeah.
It was intense, and I really liked it.
I like that kind of ringing guitar arpeggio at the beginning, like kind of like that cutting, really like sharp trebly sound. It reminded me a little bit of Bad Religion.
Yeah.
In a lot of regards. But I liked how there were two solos in it. In a very short song, there are two solos. Like how the first one was more melodic, and then the second one was more noisy.
Jeez, we got a real Megadeth going on
like,
here.
It was like, oh, do it again. I don't know what I was. Yeah, okay, yeah.
But yeah, this was a how long was it? This was a 3.5 minute song with two solos. And one of the longer songs on the record by being 3.5 minutes. Not the longest, but one of the longer ones at least. But yeah, it was also just like a good way to lead back in. You ended with the experimental tape thing, and then just like a really great, solid, loud, intense punk song that has like some great and varied songwriting in a very short period of time. Just
great way to open the side too. Yeah.
Really flex their muscles, show what they're capable of a band, right before getting jazzy again.
Yeah.
And now we move on to the next song, Libido, which I fucking love.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite. I think that was that was good. If I had heard that song, I do not remember it, or I've heard this album, but it was nice.
Yeah.
A really, really cool walking bass line that held the whole thing together.
There's an alternate version of it you can find that adds some organ to it, which is also great.
Oh,
unfortunately, it's like a minute shorter, so because it's shorter, I like the original better, but the organ really does add a lot to it. I think someone needs to do a remix where they just loop the organ over the end of the real song, and it was great. It was funny. I think it was about how like drugs or alcohol can affect your sexual performance, so also makes it funny. The guitar, like after some great melodic playing, the guitar was entirely a noise instrument in this. There was nothing melodic about the guitar. It was like big trebly noise stabs, and it was functioning a lot like you can sometimes hear like a sax or an organ in a jazz song when the bass is the main melodic component, just weaving just these blasts of noise in and out, and letting the jazz do a lot of that, or letting the bass do a lot of the heavy lifting for the song structure itself as a result. And one thing I appreciated is like the very last line, I might as well cut it off and feed it to my dog. And then another member of the band just in the background doing like a wolf howl. And the mic picking it up.
I missed that. That's great.
I did not get it the first several times I listened to it. I think this listen to might have been my first time catching that. But yeah.
That leads into what I assume is a follow-up song, No Sex.
Yeah, the first side is a lot of songs about the military. This side is a more common subject for hardcore bands.
Sexual frustration.
Yep. I think after this one is interesting that after, like the last song really playing with dynamics and not everyone all playing at the same time and cutting in and out, this one was pretty busy, just like
noisy and chaotic. Yeah,
everyone just going full steam at once.
Yeah, I enjoyed that aspect of it. They were, I think they were having a good time playing and really, they were jamming, man. Yeah, they were, and I liked the way, even though they were all going that full, there was still like a sense of momentum to it, and that like the verses were almost just like a rolling build up into like just like a furious chorus, and I thought that was great. Yeah, a lot of fun, great song. This side, I think, is more consistent at maintaining that same level of energy throughout the whole thing, too, which I think is what makes it great. And now we move on to, speaking of forward momentum, because these songs are so short, my favorite song on the record, Only in America.
I thought the music matched the title of it, and I really liked what I thought was lead guitar, and you pointed out was actually sax.
Yeah.
I thought really helped with the song, and I felt it kind of grounded it in the theme of it too. Like I don't know, the sax made it seem like, I don't know. I assume it's like only in America is like, you know, a ridiculous idea. So for some reason, it just all came together in a perfect way.
Yeah, it's a song about consumerism and making money, and you know, like what a lot of hardcore bands were talking about. And when it was morning in America during Reagan's days, it was a lot of that. But like they had fun with it. It was a lot of fun. The rhythm guitar was in it, like was an overdub one, was a bit more subdued. I think like the idea was to make the guitar inessential because it wasn't going to be part of it live, since the sax player was also the guitar player. And that also gave the bass really even more room to stand out. Like the bass was doing a lot more in this song even than in most songs, and it's doing a lot in this. And like the way the sax came in, like you can't always just have a sax just blasting all the way through a song, and they knew that because it's a loud, overpowering instrument. So they knew when to bring it in, when to cut it out. It was, really cool song. I wish more punk bands used saxes. I would have a sax in my band if I knew any sax players.
Every time I hear sax in a rock song, it's always like a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
Yeah. Well, I think there was a time in like the mid to late 80s, like a lot of like the mainstream rock would have like this overproduced, really, you know, like.
Yeah. They always had a sax in the band. Yeah.
Just like, the sax, and that would be like run through a bunch of filters to make it sit better in the song and not be like this loud, blasting, chaotic instrument, which is what it's really good for. And I think that turned a lot of people off of the idea of a sax in a rock song, which is why so many people hate it. But there's like so many ways to do it really well, and the best way to do a sax in a rock song is to not have it just going through the whole song. But yeah, it's about the notes you don't play. It's jazz.
The next song is stupid.
That was pretty fun too, though, I have to say.
Yeah.
It's what I'd call like a typical hardcore song. I'd imagine this is kind of one of their crowd pleasers. And I'm not saying that as like an insult or anything, but it is like probably the most typical song on this album, I'd say.
Yeah, and it's buried pretty deep. It's the second to the last song. It's a great song, but yeah, it doesn't stand out the way that a lot of their stuff does. Just more of a typical hardcore song, while a lot of the album was all over the place. I think we could probably slip this song in a mix while driving with Pete, and he wouldn't know it was Naked Raygun. And this is pretty good. Yeah.
This is probably more of what he wanted when he got this album. But.
Yeah. And I've noticed, too, like the song on the previous side that I said sounds the most like a typical hardcore song was also, like, pretty deep in. It was 4 songs in rather than 5, but still, they definitely had, like, the huge, great, you know, like, breakdowns into intense part. Like, they had the components of what makes hardcore great in, like, every song, but they were also doing other stuff, and there's only a couple of songs where they really just did straightforward hardcore all the way through the song. So yeah, Stupid was fun. Not much more to say about it because it was pretty straightforward. If you've heard a lot of great hardcore songs, you know what Stupid sounds like. It doesn't stand out as a Naked Raygun song. And closing out the album proper, but not everything we're going to talk about, was Managua, or Manguia, or however you pronounce that. He says it in the song, but it's really fast. Managua.
This one, well, the last one I called like a typical hardcore song. This one had kind of either like a classic punk or like a street punk vibe, but the production was very much hardcore.
Yeah.
And compared to the rest of the album, I thought this one had a bit more of a cleaner production. Either that or maybe the instrumentation lent itself to a cleaner sound than the rest of the album.
I think beginning with just kind of like the syncopated drums and like pretty clean guitar leading in did a lot to suggest a song that was cleaner than they could afford to record leading in and plant the idea that it was clean as you went in. Yeah.
They tricked me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great song, a great closer. It was, in a lot of ways, not a typical Naked Raygun song, but it wasn't a typical hardcore song either. It was just like a really good song where everyone was doing their thing. It sounded more like 77 punk to me than most of the rest of the album.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me a lot more of like the older punk bands that you brought in, like Tom Robinson or Brian Carroll.
Or Jim Carroll?
Jim Carroll.
Yeah.
Brian Carroll.
Jim Carroll, yeah.
Is Brian Carroll a guy?
I don't think so.
Or did I make that up? It sounds like a preacher.
Did. Yeah. Yeah, this is good, and it also kind of makes sense. Like, as musicians, they were a big fan of, the 77 punk bands like the like the poppier ones, like the Buzzcocks and the Jam and stuff like that too. And so you can kind of see them bring that in while still doing hardcore. Well, a lot of hardcore stuff was kind of trying to do to the first wave of punk what the first wave of punk was doing to the kind of hard rock that they preceded and saw themselves as replacing. So, yeah.
And then, this one, I thought the bass really stood out, which is kind of a theme with this album. And it was a good listen. I'd say a perfect way to close the album. Because I don't really consider the next song a closer, and it didn't really interfere with the album closing either.
No, it kind of faded out, and it sounded good. It sounded good as a closer. But the bonus track did not piss me off. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I enjoyed the bonus track too. Yes, it was fun.
Yeah. They just replayed On, only instead of doing like the backwards tape thing, it was just the song Straightforward, which was just like stupid love song sung stupidly as a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was great. No. I thought that was just a fun little trick.
But yeah, overall, I thought this was a pretty cool listen. A lot of intense moments that piqued my metal side, and some more like fun, freeformy jazz moments that piqued that interest of mine. The production makes this a little harder to listen to if you're someone that prefers like a perfect production. But if you're somebody that likes lo-fi production, or if you like albums that are recorded with like one microphone in the room kind of stuff, this one I think is one of the better ones. And yeah, as a thrash and a crossover fan, this is something I'd say you should check out.
And as someone who has listened to a lot of hardcore and a lot of like lo-fi indie music, the production did not strike me as particularly lo-fi compared to other stuff. Like I felt it was higher fidelity than some of like Guided by Voices 90s stuff even. So it was, it's not like so lo-fi you can't make out the parts or anything like that.
Well, and there's a lot of contemporary albums to this that are even harder listens because they don't have the same
attention to detail.
Yeah. So while I'm saying it's lo-fi, it's better than, I don't know, Black Flag's My War.
Yeah. Well, I think a part of that was it's probably of a similar fidelity to My War. It's just they knew how to play with the space a little better, like figure out the dynamics.
Yeah.
Figure out what to cut, what to put on a different frequency with the budget they had.
And they seemed very comfortable playing with each other. And I think that's sometimes lost on some hardcore bands, I think.
Yeah, I think any of the little sloppiness of doing it and as doing as few takes as possible is more than made up for by how much fun you can hear them having being in the same room making the same music.
Well, and it's like the Beatles is the biggest band on the planet pretty much, and they have imperfections all over their songs, so
and they're better for it.
Yeah. nothing wrong with that. And these days, it might even be better for music because then you can tell it's not made by AI.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. This was a lot of fun. This was, yes, I pick up on all of that. They seem to be enjoying themselves, which is, they were a real band. It sounded like they were all enjoying yeah.
Yeah. I did look up the credits for their first EP, the one that still had the guitarist that went on to join Big Black on it, Durango Santiago. That one did have John Haggerty, the guitarist on this, on one song, but only as a saxophone player. So I think that's kind of cool that they were both in the band for the same time, on the same time for at least one song. But yeah. But yeah, this is Naked Raygun. I would definitely recommend listening to them, but not just this album. Like their whole run of 80s albums are really good. They were a good band. Some of their stuff, like, they follow a similar career trajectory in some regards to Husker Du, in that they start out more, like noisy, freeform, jazzy hardcore. As they keep going, they keep getting more melodic and sounding more like a more intense version of what would later be alternative rock, which is good. There was a lot of good that came out of like the early alternative rock before it lost any semblance to punk as you got into the late 90s. But I definitely recommend listening to Naked Raygun. If you get a chance to see them live, they still put on a really energetic show, or at least they did when I saw them 10 years ago. So who knows? Maybe they've slowed down, maybe they haven't, but definitely worth seeing. And Andy, do you have anything you want to plug, or do you play any music live right now? Or
I still hang out with my one friend, and we play guitars. We jam every once in a while. Him and his brother. We do a lot of what you guys, listen to records and chatting them up, and it's a lot of fun. I want to just say thank you for inviting me along. I hope I passed the audition.
Oh, you did. We'll have you on for more episodes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This was the first time, so I've listened to the show a few times, so I kind of know what's going on. But I hope I wasn't too awkward. I thoroughly enjoyed myself, and thank you so much for having me on. I think it's it's very cool. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Definitely happy to have you on here. We'll have to have you back. I'll have to think of something to subject you to.
That would be. But yes, next time I'm on, I'll take a little more notes and do that. But yeah, this was I love this kind of stuff. Yeah. So thank you so much.
We didn't take notes on the first several episodes. We just started taking notes. We noticed when we invited guests on that that a lot of them started taking notes. It's like
Sean brings his nice like calligraphy set in, and
and then at that point it's like we should probably be ready to have more to say than our guests, because our guests should technically be doing less work than us. So let's just start.
Well, and I was
a little more deliberate, yeah.
And I was talking to you about when Dave was in the bathroom about how we were both saying we remember liking that song, but we don't remember why. So that's part of the reason why I have to take notes, because I'll get to it and be like, I remember the song was cool, but I don't remember exactly why.
And it can be harder with the really short punk songs too, because it's
sure, yeah.
Well, there were
6 songs in 3 minutes, or 6, 7 minutes, 10 minutes. Is okay.
It's like
that was if I bring in ago, what's going on? Yeah,
it's like if I bring in a Black Sabbath album, I don't have to take notes because I've heard it 150 million times. But
yeah.
And it's always fun to hear new music or hear music that you have forgotten about, and to bring it back in. And there's this, it's great. Thank you.
Yep.
And then, me and Dave, you can check us out in the Alliterates and Lucid Fugue. It's glad to have you on here, and I think that's it.
Yep. Catch you on the flip side.
Thank you.
Side 1, Side B with Dave and Steve is a Floof Goof Studios production. You can find us on Instagram at KillRockMusicSWS and Dave_Diction. You can find us on Bluesky at KillRock Music and Beastmaster General. Check out our musical projects, The Alliterates and Lucid Fugue, on all major streaming platforms, and links to each at my website, killrockmusic.com. That's KILRAVOCK music.com. This also includes my past projects, Megaton and Valley of Shadows, and my current solo project, Kill Rock. You can also find Dave's past project, Gong Farmer, at GONGFERMOUR.bandcamp.com. Thanks.
Everyone we worked with is dead.
Really ripped.
Yeah.
I need to change my pants.
Check.
Check. Leonard Bernstein.
I hate it so much I skipped the whole Destroyer. Right there.
Allow me to play you out.
Dirty Dave just pooped his pants.
Yes, indeed.
Perfect hooker murdering song.
Kick out the jail, motherfucker!
Are you ready?
Oh, Steve's got some cheese.
Get my podcast voice ready to go.
Jaw Wobble. What a name.
I'm Ivan Moody, and I'm having a psychotic break. Testicules.
That is a fun fact.
And there's a jazz hole